Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. We are focusing on something really important to me today, and that is pet care. We want to talk about keeping your furry friends healthy and happy right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's kind of like a roll pied for your pets, if you will.
I love that. Yeah, Tuscaloosa, it's a unique place. It's got a lot of different things that make it a special place to be a pet owner, right?
Yeah, tell me.
We've got that that humid subtropical climate.
Mm-hmm.
We're down in the Black Belt region, which has its own, specific kind of soil and history. And then, of course, the energy of a giant college town with the University of Alabama right there in the heart of it all.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it's this really unique combination of factors. It's really a one-of-a-kind place. And that's why I think today we really want to go beyond just the sort of basic pet care advice, right? I mean, we've got a ton of research here. We've got local vet tips. And our mission is to kind of equip you with that knowledge that's specific to Tuscaloosa, so your pets can really thrive here. No generic pet advice today.
Right, because a cookie-cutter approach, that just won't work.
No.
Not in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, exactly.
The vets here, they're not just general practitioners. They're almost like specialists in southern pet health. You know what I mean?
Mm.
They have to deal with things that most vets wouldn't even think about.
Yeah, and you see that reflected in all these materials we have. Like, for example, a lot of the vets here, they are pros at helping pets adapt to the humidity.
Absolutely.
It's no joke. And they're also dealing with managing stress in a college town environment, especially during those like crazy, massive game day crowds. I can't even imagine trying to walk a skittish chihuahua through that.
Oh, I know. It's a lot. They do have a unique skill set. And, one of the things that keeps coming up over and over in these materials is the need for what they call a holistic approach to pet health in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was really curious about it. What does that mean in practice? Because it sounds kind of vague, but I feel like it's really important.
It is, yeah. It means looking at the whole picture, right?
Okay.
So yeah, regular checkups, those are essential. But in a place like Tuscaloosa, it's about going beyond that basic exam. You have to factor in the climate's impact and how your pet's lifestyle might need to be adjusted, because of that college town setting. And even things like, the risks and rewards of activities around the Alabama River. All of that needs to be considered.
So it's like a customized wellness plan for your pet that's tailored to Tuscaloosa life.
Yes, exactly. You got it.
Okay, so let's get into some specifics, right? Because this is where it gets really interesting. And the research really highlights some common health challenges that are really specific to this area. Things like managing storm anxiety. And we all know severe weather is no joke in Alabama, dealing with that game day crowd stress. And of course, keeping your pets safe from that heat and humidity.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot. And it sounds like the vets here have a lot of experience and knowledge about how to deal with these things. So let's break each one of these down a little bit. Let's start with storm anxiety. What are some of the things that local vets are recommending to help pet owners prepare and keep their furry friends calm during those wild Alabama storms?
Well, one of the things that struck me is that it's not just about reacting when a storm hits, right? It's about proactively creating a calming environment before the thunder rolls. Yeah, a lot of vets here recommend designating like a safe space for your pet,
Okay.
like maybe a quiet interior room, maybe with their favorite bed and some toys. So that way when the storm hits, they have like a familiar, comforting place to retreat to.
That makes a lot of sense. Create a haven from the storm, literally.
Yeah.
But what about those pets that get anxious even before the storm? Like some pets, they can sense those barometric pressure changes, or they even pick up on their owner's anxieties. What do you do for those pets?
Well, that's where those lifestyle adaptations we were talking about earlier, that really comes into play.
Okay.
A lot of local vets are recommending things like calming music,
Oh, yeah.
or even those pheromone diffusers.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start using those well before the storm even approaches to kind of help your pet stay relaxed and, not get all worked up.
It's amazing how much we've learned about managing pet anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, though, does this safe space concept, does that also apply to game day stress? Because that's a whole different kind of chaos, right?
It does. At the end of the day, it's about giving your pet a place to escape the excitement.
Right.
Whether it's a storm or a sea of crimson and But with game days, there's like an added layer of preparation involved, I think.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. Tuscaloosa on game day, it's like a completely different environment.
Oh, absolutely.
You've got crowds and noise and all these unfamiliar smells. it can be really overwhelming for pets, especially if they're not used to it. So in addition to that safe space, having that quiet room, the local vets are really stressing the importance of desensitization.
Desensitization, so like slowly introducing them to the sights and sounds of game day.
Exactly, yeah. It's about gradual exposure. Like you might start by just, playing recordings of crowd noise at a low volume at first,
Okay.
and then rewarding your pet for staying calm.
Okay.
And then maybe, as they get used to that, you take them for a walk on the outskirts of campus on a non-game day so they get used to the environment a little bit.
So it's kind of like training them, like helping them build up their tolerance to like the craziness of game day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's especially important for puppies or newly adopted pets who haven't experienced a Tuscaloosa game day yet. Doing that can really prevent a lot of anxiety down the road.
That's such great advice. Okay, so we talked about storm anxiety, we talked about game day stress, but we can't forget about the elephant in the room, or should I say the humidity in the air. Alabama heat and humidity are no joke. And I'm guessing local vets has some very specific advice for pet owners when it comes to that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about keeping them cool, it's about recognizing the signs of heat stress, which can be, really serious. It can be life-threatening.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. What should pet owners be looking for?
So things like excessive panting, drooling more than usual, lethargy, those are all red flags.
Okay.
And if your pet's gums are bright red or their tongue is like a dark purple color, that's a sign that they need immediate veterinary attention.
So it sounds like heat stress is something to take very, very seriously.
Mhm.
What are some things that we can do as pet owners to kind of prevent this, to keep our pets safe?
A lot of the advice we're seeing from local vets, it's all about common sense. But, it's easy to overlook this stuff when you're just busy and caught up in your day-to-day life. So just first and foremost, make sure that your pet always has access to fresh, cool water,
Okay.
especially during the warmer months.
Right.
And then avoid strenuous exercise during the hottest parts of the day. Think early morning walks or evening walks when it's cooler.
So being mindful of their activity levels and making sure they stay hydrated, those are key. What about things like those cooling mats or cooling vests that you see advertised? Are those actually helpful?
They can be,
Yeah.
especially for breeds that are more susceptible to heat, like, bulldogs or pugs.
Okay.
But even with those, it's important to remember that every pet is different.
Right.
Some might love a cooling vest, others might find it uncomfortable.
So it's really about knowing your pet and what they like.
Exactly, yeah. And don't underestimate the power of shade.
Right.
Whether it's a shady spot in your yard or a tree-lined walking route, or even if you're going to the dog park, bringing a beach umbrella,
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, just providing shade can make a world of difference.
that's a great point. Speaking of the dog park, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about another important aspect of pet care in Tuscaloosa. And that's, finding the right veterinarian. It's not just about convenience, right?
No, definitely not. And remember that holistic approach we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Well, finding a vet who really embraces that philosophy is crucial, especially in a place like Tuscaloosa with its unique challenges.
Okay, so what should pet owners be looking for when they're trying to choose a vet? What are the things that make a vet stand out as someone who really gets Tuscaloosa and the specific needs of pets here?
Well, look for a vet who really emphasizes, a comprehensive lifestyle approach.
Okay.
Someone who takes into account your pet's daily routines, their exposure to the outdoors, and those potential stressors that are, really unique to Tuscaloosa.
So it's you're looking for a vet who understands the local context,
Right.
right? Someone who's not just treating symptoms, but really looking at the bigger picture. Exactly. You want a vet who's comfortable discussing things like heat and humidity management and seasonal allergy concerns and even, the potential risks associated with activities around the river.
It's almost like you're looking for a vet who's also a Tuscaloosa local, right?
Yeah.
Someone who knows the lay of the land and can really offer tailored advice based on their own experiences.
I love that. That's a great way to put it. And, don't be afraid to ask questions during your search.
Right.
Find out if the vet has experience dealing with those common health challenges that we've been talking about. A vet who understands those nuances will be much better equipped to provide, the best care for your furry friend.
So finding a good fit is really essential. Okay, but what about those unexpected situations? Those times when your pet needs care outside of regular office hours? We've got a lot of information here about emergency preparedness And it seems like Tuscaloosa has a pretty robust system in place.
They do, yeah. And it's something that every pet owner should be aware of, you know? Knowing where to go and what to do in an emergency can save precious time and potentially your pet's life.
So what are the key things we should be thinking about when it comes to emergency preparedness?
Well, step one is knowing where to go. So have the contact information for at least one 24/7 emergency clinic readily available.
Okay.
And not just any clinic, make sure it's one that can actually handle your pet's specific needs.
Right, because a clinic that specializes in cats might not be the best place to take your bearded dragon in an emergency.
Exactly, yeah. And it's also a good idea to have, like, a pet first aid kit on hand.
Okay.
Just basic supplies like gauze and antiseptic wipes and a pet thermometer, things like that.
It's like having a little mini emergency room for your pet right there at home.
Exactly, yeah. And then don't forget about microchipping.
Right.
If your pet ever gets lost, that tiny chip can be a lifesaver.
I know it's important. I have to admit, I don't really understand how it works. Can you explain that?
Yeah, sure. So a microchip, it's a tiny device about the size of a grain of rice, and it's implanted under your pet's skin. And it contains a unique identification number that can be read by a scanner. So if your pet gets lost and they're taken to a shelter or vet clinic, they can scan the microchip and then they can access your contact information.
So it's like a digital ID tag.
Exactly, yeah. And in a place like Tuscaloosa with its, bustling college town environment and the proximity to the river, microchipping really does provide that extra layer of security.
It's so easy for a pet to get spooked and run off, especially with all the excitement and all the distractions.
Absolutely. And remember, keeping your pet's microchip information up to date is crucial.
Oh, right.
If you move, if you change your phone number, make sure to update those details with the microchip registry.
That's a really good point. It's one of those things that's easy to forget, but it can make all the difference in a lost pet situation.
It really can. And speaking of being prepared, I think it's also worth mentioning that some local vets are recommending that pet owners familiarize themselves with, basic pet CPR.
Pet CPR. I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many pet emergencies could benefit from knowing even just the basics. There are classes available locally, often offered through like vet clinics or animal shelters, and it's a great way to feel empowered and prepared just in case.
So it sounds like being proactive is the name of the game when it comes to pet care in Tuscaloosa.
It really is. It's about understanding, the unique challenges and opportunities of this environment and taking steps to ensure that your furry friend thrives.
And having the right knowledge and the right resources can make all the difference.
It really can. It transforms the experience from one of potential worry to one of confidence and empowerment,
Right.
knowing that you're equipped to handle whatever challenges Roll Tide Country throws your way.
This has been so informative. It's amazing how much goes into keeping pets healthy and happy in a place like Tuscaloosa.
It really is. And, one of the things that just keeps coming up over and over in these materials is the importance of building a strong relationship with your veterinarian.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a partnership, right?
It is, yeah. Think of your vet as an ally and a resource and a guide on this journey of pet ownership. And in Tuscaloosa, that relationship is even more crucial.
Yeah.
You really want a vet who understands the local context and the unique challenges and who can offer tailored advice based on their experience.
So it's about finding a vet who not only cares for your pet, but understands, Tuscaloosa.
Exactly. And when you have that kind of partnership, it makes all the difference. You feel empowered to make informed decisions. You know you have a trusted expert in your corner, and ultimately it leads to a happier, healthier life for your furry friend.
Right, which is what it's all about. It's about giving our pets the best possible care. And in a place like Tuscaloosa, that means going beyond the basics and really embracing that holistic approach that considers, their physical health, their emotional health, their social well-being.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's about recognizing that Tuscaloosa, while it presents some unique challenges, it also offers incredible opportunities for pets to thrive.
Yeah.
With the right knowledge, the right vet by your side, and a little bit of preparation, you can make sure that your furry friend lives a long, happy, and healthy life in this really vibrant corner of Alabama.
That's so well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm feeling so much more informed and prepared to care for my own pets here in Tuscaloosa.